Hey, Katrina here from Scrappy Horses. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So happy you've joined me today. I am working on a bag and bow, and then later on in the video, a tag to go along with it. Now these are for the Cut It Up challenge, where our theme is ribbons and bows, and you have to include die cuts. So let's start out here in Design Space, and let me share with you what I used to make this box or bag. I started with DigiPapers from DeCostas Dynamite Doodles, Mommy Dearest, and I will link that in the box below for you. My bag cut is from Fleurette Blume, and it is retired. The bow cut is from Polka Doodles Work and Play, Love and Kisses. I'm sure that there is a bag cut much like this in Cricut Access, so I'm sure if you hunt around, you can find one. Let's go on to the craft table and let's just take a look at how I assembled this box. Here we are at the craft table, and what I did, because these were too big to do print and cut, I actually did the bag or box cut by printing paper and then just cutting it. The bow I did as a print thin cut, and I have all of my pieces ready, so let's get started. I'm going to go ahead, and even though the embossed marks are there, they're not very deep, and I'm using a pretty hefty cardstock here. So I'm going to go ahead and put these in a little deeper, these score marks, so that they're really easy to fold. I did this on both sections of my box, as well as adding some double score tape. Now I'm going to come in with some really thin double score tape and go all the way around the top of this bag or box. From here on out, I think I'm just going to call it a bag. Some people call them bags, some boxes. All right, I'm coming along now with some teal lace, and I'm just going around and just carefully laying it right on top of that double score tape. I'm going to add a little bit here of my Fabric-Tac just to glue that little tail into place. All right, now let's come in and let's take a look at the bow. I'll start by inking up around the edges of the patterned paper, and then I will glue that onto the offset that I created in Cricut Design Space. I will do that with both pieces of the bow, the underneath part and the part that kind of curls around and creates the big loopy part of the bow. Now this little piece is going to wrap around and create sort of the knot in the bow. So again, I'm going to back that. Now to curve this around, I'm going to train my paper to get that really nice curl by using just a very round marker. This just happens to be a zig marker, I think. I'm not sure. But I just keep it just for that purpose. It doesn't even work anymore. I just use it for curling bows and paper. I'm going to use my ATG here. Just put a little strip of tape, and then I'm going to go ahead and use Fabric-Tac over that. Now the little bit of tape is going to get it to grab a little quicker. It's not grabbing as quickly as I would like. I'm going to go ahead and put a paper clip on that and just set it aside to dry. All right, I'm going to come in and do that next piece, and I'm using my pen to do that, but I want something even smaller, so I'm going to pick up a little paintbrush and just round it around that. I'm going to come in with some Rafia ribbon. I like this because it again was in the color family, but it was a little bluer and very bright and shiny, and I thought it would be a fun contrast. I'm going to go ahead and bring in my loopy part of the bow, and here I'm going to use some double score tape to adhere that. I know that that's going to stick and it's going to hold really quickly. I'm wrapping around the back, and again I'm going to bring some double score tape And this little part right here is actually part of the bow. So I'm going to cut off this extra part that I don't need. And now I'm going to decide, do I really want this wider one on there? And I decided, yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Again, I'm going to bring in some double score tape because I know it's going to hold it the first time out. And I feel like I can get a pretty good placement the first time. I don't feel like that's going to be a problem. I'm going to go ahead and just use some double score tape, adhere that to my bag, and it is finished, and we can move on to the tag. All right, so what I've used here is the image, tag, and paper are all from DeCosse's Dynamite Doodles Mommy Dearest. Now the tag shape is actually from a different set. That tag is actually from Tag Grab Bag 1, the Cotton Candy Collection. I'll link that below, as well as the papers that I used. The little shoe was actually brought out of a paper pattern by DeCosse's Dynamite Doodles. I'm going to link that video, and I'll put it up in the right-hand corner of your screen if you want to watch how I did that, because that was sort of a fun process. So I will link that so you can see how I did that. I did use my offset feature. There you can see on the tag and on the square. All right, let's again go back to the craft table and let's get started on the tag. I'm going to come in. I first printed it in gold and then decided that that was going to be a little dark for my project. So I went ahead and just used the reverse side, which was white, which was perfect for me. I was just checking out how much lace I thought I might need for this. Cut that strip. I went around with some color on the edge there of the pattern piece. And now I am just putting a little bit of double score tape at the bottom. Now I'm going to sort of pleat this in to give it more of a ruffle underneath the card. Sort of what your sewing machine would do if you were doing a ruffle. I'm just using my piercing tool to make that happen. I use my piercing tool for everything. I love my piercing tool. Coming in with some cereal box, and I believe before this is all over, I use 2 layers of cereal box on this. It just made it so that the top would sort of pop off, give it a little bit of dimension, and give room for that lace that I've ruffled up, gives it room to sit underneath there. I'm going to go ahead and add that cute little vintage shoe and just glue that on with some Fabric-Tac. Now all I need to do is add a little bit of raffia ribbon through a button. I'm going to tie that off, and I'm going to go ahead and use some double score tape to adhere that also to the top of the card. And I'll also add some sweet little teal gems to this. I am so happy you joined me today. This was a really fun project, and I've made this for my mother-in-law. I think she's going to really enjoy this. And of course, I'm going to fill it with some nice goodies for her. Any comments or questions, leave them in the box below, and I will get back to you. I will also leave all the information you need to join in over at Cut It Up, as well as information about where you might find some of these goodies I used. Have a wonderful week, and I will catch up with you in the next video. Bye.